series. They're taking on one of these new blood teams looking to turn their story around.
And for the Knights, we're looking at AJ, how he continues to fit into this rotation and how they deal with the loss of Mist. We saw Mist on Ghost earlier today, how critical he was to their success in their victory over E United.
Gyro has been taking a bit more of a defensive role. And we saw last week AJ and Reynolds connecting on quite a few plays.
Well,
Let's see
AJ,
if that dynamic continues.
he finds another tap against the backboard. Rizzo has the save. Rizzo as well last week, I thought, had a really excellent performance. Played really well passing, and he shot a couple of times as well. I know everyone, you know, JNAP's absolutely played fantastic. But for G2, I think all three of them feel more comfortable in how they've been playing lately.
Turtle had Rizzo as his MVP in the too soon predictions.
I love that. I love that. It was the most bold out of all of the bold predictions. But I mean, honestly, if you really think G2 are going to have this bounce back, if they are going to get top 2, Rizzo's going to be a big part of that.
He certainly is, but you have to remember as well, week 1 they played against Rogue, who you could tell was struggling a bit. Rogue is also a team that's looking to bounce back. So G2 now, they're going to have to prove they can make it work against a team like Pittsburgh, and Gyro, just as I say it, puts in the first goal of the game.
Yeah, Chicago trying to find that read against the corner, and he just gets a poor touch.
And
out.
it looked like he also bumped JNAPS on accident way out of the way.
Yeah.
Gyro comes in and just cleans up.
The Knights take advantage. And for the Knights last week, you know, they didn't really get as involved in the demo game. Oh, hang on a second. Off the crossbar. What a touch.
An awkward defensive position that Gyro was in. A very good play for him to not only get the touch to prevent the shot, but put it in a spot where it couldn't get followed up on. Gyro having a fantastic series early on.
And I felt like last season for the Knights, they kind of lived and died by how well Gyro performed. And then at the World Championship, Gyro was playing really, really well. So Rizzo, almost finding the goal.
And Gyro didn't really have much boost at all to make that play.
Thank you for not touching that, Rizzo. Appreciate it. Right now it's G2 with possession. JNAP's in front, tried to get in Gyro's way. Nothing there. Cut off by Reynolds, and he makes another challenge. It's looking good for the Knights. Gyro confirming the boost. He at least got a touch onto the ball. Reynolds first to this touch as well.
Good speed from Reynolds. He had to get there in time to prevent that shot. There was nobody left in net. Had he gotten to that ball a split second too slow, that would have been an easy goal for G2.
And some of these 50s are dangerous because they're in low boost situations for Knights. If they don't win that 50, you're talking about a goal scoring opportunity for G2. But they've won those 50s, so I'm picking up another save coming back. Reynolds off the top of his car.
But he has no boost left to make a play. Chicago going to keep this pressure on. Reynolds has made a couple plays now where he's had to hustle back in order to get a save or help his team out. Reynolds usually known for being upfield, getting the goals coming into this week, up there near the top of the charts.
Oh, it's G2 putting pot shots at the net. Cut off an angle here, but late to the ball was Rizzo. He's too far in front. JNAPS, that one's gonna get away from him, but it comes off the backboard for Chicago. Nothing. Off the back wall, G2 had a chance.
Chicago's gonna want that one back. That easily could have been G2's equalizing goal.
Still, the Knights hang on to this 1-goal lead, but G2 have had a lot of shots on net. 4 or 5 on that last sequence. JNAP's around the corner, looking for the pass. Oh, it's off the post. Bounces out. Rizzo only buys a little bit of time for G2. Chicago cuts off the angle. Here's JNAP. Shot blocked again by Reynolds. G2 hunting for this. Waiting in midfield. Rizzo.
The Knights defense has been hanging on by a thread, Jorby. Multiple chances for G2 to equalize, and the Knights squirm away with their lead preserved. I don't know how they're making it happen.
I mean, some of these balls are just hanging dangerously.
Oh, and here we go.
The box, and they're gonna score. AJ going down the pitch. The Knights a 2-goal lead.
this hustle. You see JNAPS, he turned for it. Reynolds had no boost, but still gets to the ball first. And once he wins that challenge, it's open fields for AJ, who puts that one in. Knights, their defense holding strong despite the G2 pressure, and then they get that counterattack goal. It's something that you know they have the ability to do. Reynolds, so speedy.
And Gyro earlier as well. Think about that read he had off the crossbar when G2 looked like they were going to score the first goal of the game.
Very important touch that he had made. Even last week defensively, Gyro had quite a few defensive touches in some key moments for his team to relieve pressure by time.
Like that on defense from the Knights, the pass over to Reynolds. Time expires, and the Knights take game one.
They take it 2-0, but this one very easily could have gone to overtime. G2 multiple scoring opportunities that they failed to put away. Even just looking at the shots. 11-5 in favor of G2. The Knights getting multiple saves. Reynolds coming back on defense, making some big plays. Gyro making some plays. AJ putting in that free goal. So Gyro feeling comfortable even after more defensive responsibilities are in his hands after the departure of Mist, but they're making it work.
And I think for G2, there was that one sequence for about 2 minutes where they were on the Knights' half of the field. The whole time, they were taking pot shots at the net, but the key difference is that the boost battle on each side, both teams sit at about 75% collected on their own pad, on their own big pads. So G2, they're not winning the offensive boost battle. So despite the fact that they're taking a bunch of those shots, the Knights have the boost to deal with all of those shots.
They certainly do. They've been dealing with them, but also G2 had boosts and had resources to use in terms of positioning, being upfield with support.
Yeah.
They were in positions where they could get a shot on net, a quality shot, and they just didn't. Chicago, you think about the play where he had a far post shot that just dinked off the post. That was a very scoreable ball. So G2 just needs to clean that up a little bit. They had those chances. They just have to put them away like the Knights did.
Absolutely. And then, you know, there were 2 saves that the Knights had to make a play on. The one from Gyro and then the one from Reynolds coming back to net, punching it off the top of his car. There's a lot to like in this series so far if you're G2, but the difference is just missing the goals. So G2, they start on offense. JNAP's trying to shovel that out over to a teammate. It does eventually work its way back to Chicago. But here, this is what you want to see from G2. They have midfield. Now how do they approach?
2 quality challenges from Reynolds. But still, Gyro, the boost spawned on him. He didn't get the greatest hit, however, and Chicago can't get the follow-up.
That's the 3rd one from Chicago that should have been in the net. That one will go in. 4th time's the charm for Chicago.
G2, they kept getting pressure even last game. And now that pass from Rizzo right to the nose of Chicago. Chicago won't miss that. G2 coming out swinging game 2.
Rizzo was a fiend last week on passing. Quick infield. This time, what you like to see from Rizzo. Reynolds, that shot is on target, but blocked by Chicago, racing towards it. Reynolds will collect that boost on his way out, but G2 will move down the field.
Still looking for AJ to make an impact. He was the roster move that we were looking at this season, wondering if keeping Mist might have been the better option.
Ooh, double commit by the Knights. He did pick up 1 goal, but other than that, he has been pretty quiet.
And the 1 goal was a result of Reynolds winning the challenge for him.
Basically a gimme. The double tap, too wide. Easily taken out. JNAP's low boost situation for him.
Chance for AJ to make his mark. Got bumped out of that play. But we've seen AJ do some spectacular things in the air before as well. With flip resets, double taps, high-speed aerial plays. AJ has it in him. Last week, him and Reynolds linked up for quite a few goals.
He just hasn't really had the space against G2. They've done a good job closing the gap, not allowing the Knights to carry too much. A lot of the Knights' attempted possessions have been attempted quick passes. For the most part, handled well by G2 in game 3.
We see AJ linking up with Reddles.
Game 2. But off the backboard.
Are you okay, Jorby?
I'm great. I'm great, James. You know,
Just checking.
scarabs, gizmos.
Let's move past
game
that
sets.
one, buddy. It's tough. It's tough talking for a living.
It's pretty easy. I like Chicago off the corner. But nothing here for G2. I mean, so far, no team really grabbing real advantage. Boost game still about even.
Even in the first game, it was an even game. It was the fact that G2 wasn't finishing that was the difference. Now we see G2, they struggled with it earlier as well. There was an opportunity for them to clean up. Chicago didn't connect. And it took that beautiful pass from Rizzo to set up that only goal that G2's had so far.
A little too much juice on that ball for AJ. JNABs will move back quickly. Chicago shot! Oh, blocked by Reynolds in the perfect spot!
He gets another save as he was in the air from his previous save. Reynolds is all over the place.
Quick pass, Rizzo shot is good! G2 take advantage of the double commit.
Is this when we start the Rizzo MVP chant?
I'm telling you.
Look at this shot! 28 boost, perfect angle on that deflection.
He found the
70
tipper.
miles an hour. Yeah, that was a tipper if I've ever seen one in Rocket League. Just hitting that right with the nose of his car to get maximum power.
So Turtle is watching in the back.
I don't know what it is
Evil
about
smile.
the Turtle Corelli combo. It's just the big brain duo.
Something about those two. A lot of intelligence. AJ, ooh, almost got it quickly. He's going to get back to this touch. He will at least steal that boost away.
Rizzo opting to keep this for himself. Gyro wasn't fooled.
And on the catch, Gyro, he's over Chicago, has Reynolds in traffic against JNABs. AJ couldn't find that touch. He does take it away, but it's actually a pass to JNABs and a third goal for G2. Little too much for the Knights.
JNAB just swoops in here, and AJ completely whiffs on that challenge. Reynolds was trying to get it to Gyro, but JNAB's jumped in the way. In this game, AJ has been struggling to find a comfortable spot.
Yeah, he hasn't really. He tried to be quick in midfield off the ceiling earlier. Missed the flip off that. Opted to go for the boost, trying to continue the touch. And then that last touch, just feeling the need to score with time running out. You try to get aggressive, you try to just take the ball away, and you end up giving up possession. So, it definitely some growing pains for the Knights. They did take game 1, but game 2, this is what the scoreline would have been had Chicago hit those couple of shots.
It would have at least gone to overtime.
Yeah.
Certainly. But Knights, you can tell they've got the pieces. AJ, if he can polish up his play in the next games, the Knights could get right back into this and start to pull away. But G2, they're bringing the thunder.
Absolutely. Drops down. Do they pick one more up? What a shot, Rizzo. MVP chance. Get him in. He didn't score that one, but it was beautifully placed.
He got MVP in this game at least. Maybe that's what Turtle was talking about.
That counts at least for a little bit.
So G2 bounce back. Again, out shooting Knights. Reynolds, yeah, by significant margins. Reynolds, he continues to play well. Reynolds upfield on defense. He's all over the field, getting some key touches on the ball. That time, the touch over to Gyro was a little too soft, but he was in a tough situation after AJ was in the corner and failed to make that challenge.
I mean, the makeup of this Knights team has just really changed with AJ. With Mist, it was such a focus on physical play, bumps, and demos, and we're not seeing that at all. I don't think the Knights had a single demo this series.
That's a great point you bring up. Reynolds is usually, last season what we saw from him was being upfield demoing, and what we've seen this time is he's had to streak back to make defensive stops. We didn't really see much of that last season because he was free to be upfield. So AJ, the roster change came in, AJ swapped out for Mist. It has changed the team dynamic. And so will AJ start playing a more critical role in the offensive end like we saw last week? Or will he continue to it seems to me like he is struggling to find a comfortable position in the rotations and on the team at the moment in that game, but it's still early in the series. It's tied up 1 apiece. This is a big series for both of these teams.
Absolutely, and I mean, give G2 credit. They've done a great job shutting down everything the Knights have tried. The Knights feel disjointed, but I think that's more a result of G2, well, losing this kickoff and then getting scored on. Gyro will pick up this goal. The Knights start on the right foot.
JNAPS had to get a better challenge than that. Reynolds wins it clearly, and Gyro comes in to smash it home. Knights, 6 seconds in, a hot start, and that is the start you want if you're a Pittsburgh fan.
Gyro was also a critical part of this team's success. Just hasn't found a lot to work with.
When he first got into the league, I had my questions about Gyro, but the more I see from Gyro, the more I like. He is just a player who's not afraid to go into the trenches, do the dirty work, but he's so clutch as well. Even from the Montreal title that they got at DreamHack, just such a big-time player in those moments. And that's something, no matter how mechanically good you are, some players just have it. You think of players like Turbo, who have those big-time moments where they can step up. Gyro is another one of those players to me that has that ability.
AJ and Reynolds trying to clear this out, and G2 have really just put the foot down on this series so far. The Knights did pick up that goal on the kickoff, but you see, if they don't win that kickoff, life is difficult, especially on defense. A couple of double commits from the Knights, really forced from this pressure from G2. Rizzo's been playing well. That's a good pass, and the shot's good for Chicago, who is really picking it back up in this series tie game.
I was just about to say, what's JNAPS been doing? Well, he's now feeding Chicago, who smacks that one right to the center of the net. A low shot down past the defender. Lovely pass from JNAPS. We got to see him score some beauties last week, especially the overtime winner. The double tap off the arc of the ceiling. Huge goal from JNAPS now, making it happen on the assist side.
Rizzo's challenge for Chicago, almost finding the angle as well. JNAPS will get a free look at this off the backboard. It'll be kicked away. Gyro dove in front. Rizzo kills the ball for Chicago. Back to JNAPS. JNAPS has Chicago in front. Chicago for the bump, but he didn't get him. Reynolds has the save for now. Gyro has some space. Knights trying to find a way out.
That is a nightmare situation for Reynolds. He sees Chicago coming in looking for a bump, and he's sitting on 0 boost and managed to make the stop. Kudos to Reynolds for keeping that ball out.
And then that next touch just makes things awkward for Gyro's sitting low on boost. Rizzo moves it across. Reynolds doesn't find a decent touch.
Had G2 known that Reynolds was out of boost, maybe just you go for the dribble, because once you jump with no boost, that's it.
Yeah.
You have no control. You can't get down to the ground faster. You're just floating there. Oh, and that touch. That could have been bad for G2.
Well, AJ stole that boost. It could be a chance for the Knights on that corner. Gyro keeping it close. He tried to get under Rizzo on the play. Reynolds keeps it going, uses the rest of what he has, but it's returned with a boomer. Good soft touch from Gyro. And a great return there from Chicago, but AJ still has possession, pass, and
JNAP's got a piece of it.
Yeah.
AJ was taking his time, being patient, looking to find a teammate, but that's the second time that JNAPS has jumped into the lane to prevent a quality shooting opportunity.
And we're in a tie game, and I mean, right now for the boost battle, it's also fairly even. That's a good steal from AJ. Reynolds is up off the backboard. It's got to be Gyro. He's coming late on this. Pass to Reynolds. Reynolds' pathing was not good enough for that pass anyway.
Also a heads-up play from Rizzo. He knew that there was a player over there who could receive the pass and broke up that lane as well. G2 getting in the way. Rebound chance. Rizzo off the crossbar.
JNAP's forced to wait. He actually finds the dunk. It's off the crossbar. Chicago covers the distance quickly. He's got 2 in the tank and gives Rizzo a chance at this ball. G2 still have it. And finally, AJ break out for the Knights. Chicago, only that touch for Gyro. But JNAPS is here looking for the angle, sets this up. Reynolds forced to tip this up. JNaps was waiting, but now he's going to take a shot. Gyro forced to make this touch. It's awkward for the Knights on
Everyone's
defense.
low.
In front of the box, the shot's blocked again from Rizzo.
Everyone was on 0 until Reynolds got that pad. Gyro finally getting the corner boost. A scary defensive moment for the Knights.
Oh, light pass. He's got Rizzo downfield, blocked. Knights doing a good enough job on defense, but how long can a good thing last for the Knights? About 30 seconds remaining. A dump down to Rizzo, blocked again. Still, AJ.
Oh,
trying to get out.
Unfortunate for JNaps. He was mid-flip and hit it downfield.
Oh. But they still have the ball. Knights couldn't do anything. It's the chokehold from G2. As time is expiring in regulation, JNaps backflipped, but Rizzo gets to the ball in time.
Gyro and AJ were both sitting in the net shoulder to shoulder.
Chicago, point man on, Rizzo downfield. Chicago still on top of this ball. The bump from Rizzo, it's saved. Woo! Gyro barely gets the Knights out, and somehow, some way, James, we're in overtime.
Jeeves was talking about it earlier in the day, how sometimes overtime is a godsend. It allows you to reset the game, no matter who's in charge of the boost, who's in charge of possession. As soon as that ball touches in overtime, it's a blank slate. It could not have come at a better time for the Knights.
Oh my gosh. That light touch, from JNaps. Wait, the shot is good from Chicago! G2 win game number 3.
Chicago threading the needle. AJ was on the wall. You could see him floating there. Chicago, precision strike, like a laser-guided missile, hitting his target. G2 moving ahead in the series, now 1 game away from taking the win.
Game 1 is a distant memory for Chicago. Took a little bit to get warmed up, hit the post a couple of times, but now he's back to the scoring machine that we all know and love. 2 goals in that game alone off of 7 shots.
This is a different Knights team, Jorby. We're starting to see it. Last week, it was week 1. They were playing against Flight, who was one of the expansion teams, the team that we just saw NRG dominate, and that series went to game 5. Now that we're seeing the Knights play against G2, who is playing a possession game, they're controlling the ball, and what we're finding is that the dynamic for the Knights is in question at the moment. AJ, I went and watched him on the player cam. There were quite a few times where he would try to rotate out. He would not be to the ball close enough, and he would just have to turn back and rotate. He wasn't really getting a lot of quality challenges on the ball, and that's something Mist does all the time. He was up first to the ball. He would get the stop, send it back downfield. AJ is not doing that for the Knights right now, and we even saw at one point AJ and Gyro were sitting in net shoulder to shoulder as the ball was bouncing out in their own half. The rotations are not on point for the Knights at the moment.
They're getting outshot 40-14 after 3 games. G2 have put 40 shots on net. This is what everyone called the greatest offense in the RLCS just a couple of seasons ago.
It's not over yet either, Jorby.
No.
The Knights, they're a team that deals with adversity. Even against Flight, they had to reverse sweep them. So there's one team that I would not count out, or if there's one team I wouldn't count out in this situation, it is the Knights. But they need some help, and they need AJ to step up to the plate here and help him hit a home run.
G2 with JNaps. Nothing just yet. AJ picked up that save across. Reynolds clears that one away. A G2 ball. Ooh. A little too far for Chicago.
Good flick from AJ. And a pass.
And it's great! You wanted him to step up. He actually picks up the goal, too.
He gets control here, flicks it past JNaps, gets the pass to Reynolds, and keeps boosting in for the pinch. That is the type of offensive fireworks that you want to see out of AJ. What a show.
And the Knights picked up AJ for a reason. There was obviously something that they liked about the team dynamic that just hasn't fully clicked yet. Maybe it's that flash right there.
That could ignite him.
Minute in. Knights fighting for game 5. Good cutoff here from Reynolds. He's got the first look at the ball. He wants a pass. Gyro was there as well. AJ got cut off by a G2 car. JNAPS will take it. He's got one in the air to beat. A good catch from Gyro in the corner.
I love that play from Gyro, the small touch to roll it up the wall and get the boost. It's so easy to mess those hits up and have it bounce off the wall. Good car control from Gyro.
The Knights are stuck in their own corner right now. You see AJ just waiting for this next touch, maybe hoping for that boost to spawn with nothing in the tank. He does find that touch, but guess who was waiting? Rizzo, G2 score.
And Reynolds was also on 0 boost that whole time, Jorby. Reynolds wanted to get back in net. AJ couldn't clear it far enough to the corner. Reynolds used up all the boost he could, but was still not there in time. G2, they smell blood in the water right now. They want to finish off the Knights.
And it's looking really good for G2. Stands that one play from the Knights. We just haven't seen it. The boost battle right now owned by G2. Oh, that one banged off the crossbar. Chicago plays it slow. Double tap, triple tap, quadruple quintillion tap. Chicago scores.
Chicago puts the ball in his bag and just takes it to school. Look at this. Woo!
Well done, Chicago.
Not taking no for an answer.
Absolutely not.
Chicago hitting some big goals in this series. The overtime goal last game, he scored both goals for G2.
I mean, G2, again, it comes down to pitch control. Right now in the first half of the game, for both midfield boosts, they've taken them about 60% of the time. They own the right corner of the Pittsburgh Knights boost canister, and they completely own the goal or the canisters on their own end. Reynolds stealing that boost, that's the first one.
Well, what's baffling to me is the fact that, you know, for G2 on the left side of their field, like you said, 100% domination of that back boost corner, and they've gotten Pittsburgh's back right boost more than Pittsburgh has gotten it. How does that happen?
It's utter domination on the pitch in Game 4 for G2. Good carry from Rizzo.
Quality bump from Gyro. Chicago was lining up for the shot. If Gyro doesn't get that bump, could have easily been 3-1.
Like that pass. Double commit from G2. Give Reynolds a chance at this. Off the corner, though, and Rizzo was ready for it. Still, you're starting to like this. Whoop. Slip back in, take that boost. Here's some space. Oh, AJ wanted to go for that, but the bounce was for Reynolds. Now AJ's up for it. Pass to Reynolds. No, it's not good. Double commit from G2, but they get out of harm's way and retain the lead. It started to get dangerous for G2 at the end there.
Rizzo had to step up and make that massive save. Now he's low on boost. Gyro stealing all the boost in front of him, but Rizzo does get a spawn coming right at the perfect time. And now a G2 counterattack is on. JNAPS, he was waiting for it, but didn't connect on the shot.
There's so much space to do that. So much space to just dump that out the midfield. And even Rizzo had space downfield. Past him. No one's up to challenge these plays, and you have to be able to meet G2 with the punch. But we talked about it earlier. The difference has been the boosts. You gotta have boosts to be able to make those challenges. Reynolds wins this touch. It's gonna be awkward for Chicago? No, it's not. Pass blocked by Rizzo.
Rizzo, he saw AJ wanting to take the shot. Now another shot denied. JNAPS couldn't get it past Reynolds. Rizzo, his defense has been something else, preventing the shot opportunities. G2 as a whole has just been reading the telegraphed passes from the Knights, and the Knights gonna have to figure out something more creative to get past this G2 defense.
Time is running out for the Pittsburgh Knights. It looked shaky last week against Flight, and G2 have just driven the nail in onto Pittsburgh. JNAPS, a demo, the touch to the back wall. G2 in complete control. A spectacular performance from G2 in their Week 2 game against the Knights.
And that's it. That is it. G2 taking this series 3-1.
He gone.
And now there's a shift. We heard in the Reynolds interview that he said they've got G2's number. Well, the tables have turned. G2 getting that 3-1 win, and a lot of it thanks to Chicago, who hit some big shots in this game. Rizzo played quality defense. Rizzo also hitting some important goals. You talk about unsung heroes, Rizzo up there at the top of the list. He had another fantastic series.
And JNaps as well with passes down the field, did a good job catching and delivering the ball where it needed to be. This was a full team effort from G2. They look nigh unbeatable in this series, and they only dropped one game, and even then they weren't in control of that game for the most of it. It was just some missed opportunities from Chicago.
Yeah, Chicago, you think back, even though he hit those big goals, he did miss some opportunities, but the important thing for G2 is that they were generating quality chances. They really were generating quality chances from the get-go. That first game, they just, the reason they lost was just because of their shooting troubles, but that quickly got fixed. The Knights, however, it's an alarming series to watch if you're a Knights fan, because you saw they had such a distinct play style last season.
Yeah.
And it was a play style that worked for them. It helped them get a major title, and it helped get them to the World Championship. But that play style is not, it's just not how they play anymore.
Well, I think that's the interesting thing. We talked all last season about there being this meta shift with the new teams. And now the Knights have completely gone away from that. United haven't even been going for demos and bumps. They haven't been finding them. So have we shifted back a little bit? Either way, today's games have been fantastic. We'll go back to leaving the guys on the desk to wrap things up.